Hello everybody, Brian Good here. Reason why I've got this look on my face, this is my third time trying to get the blog taped tonight. First time it didn't work, second time the audio failed. It's not been my night. For some reason these computers do not like me. So I will try to get through this as quickly as I can. So I'm running out of steam. But here's the snow stats. We should have 1 inch on the board by now. We don't. Don't be alarmed by that. It's alright, not a big deal. Alright, where's the monitoring board goes? One item of interest on there. I did take Christmas off. I can't wish cast. I would like to have a Christmas miracle, but it's just too much data against it being on the board right now. But the system later this week too, 18th and 19th, not that impressive, but it's worth talking about. All right, let's talk about our rain and wind that we're going to be dealing with as we get into the overnight period. See a lot of clouds over the area now. Got a few little sprinkles showing up. But what is more interesting, what's happening across Tennessee. Notice this band here, this arc. I haven't had any reports yet of lightning. In fact, let me double check that again and see. Yeah, not much showing up there in the lightning scope whatsoever. But it wouldn't surprise me to have a little bit of lightning with that. But most of this is going to be just a band of heavy rain. But we've got to watch this because see that's another band here near St. Louis. This should all connect into one. And this could be what could enhance our winds over 40 miles per hour. Maybe up to 50. So we've got to watch that. The second thing this thing could do is increase our temperature by several degrees right before the rain hits. Our record, by the way, I just checked, for Monday officially, once we pass midnight, is 73 degrees. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we're not going to be far from it. It's worth mentioning. Sustained winds right now are 10 in Louisville, but 28 sustained in Paducah at the moment. But look at the number in Paducah, 72 degrees. And 70 in Nashville. So 73, not that off of the realm of possibility here ahead of that surge. But notice it is disjointed from the main rain band. This is the main rain band right here. And this is kind of racing out ahead of it. So the question is, how far is that going to go before it just kind of fizzles out? A lot of questions here on that, how that's going to roll. But we'll watch it. All right, so wind advisory is in effect for the area. Kicked in officially at 11 o'clock through 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So this is a long wind advisory. By the way, for those of you in our far northern county, Seymour, or Jackson, Jennings, and Lawrence, and Carroll County, you guys are not in there because you're controlled by different weather service offices which have different criteria for a wind advisories compared to the National Weather Service in Louisville, which controls most of wave country. So in case you're wondering why you guys are not included, doesn't mean you're not going to be just as windy. It just means your criteria is different for you than it is for the other counties. All right? So let's get into Futurecast. One thing I'll say is it shows that band approaching, and it loses it right before it arrives here. But notice the time's really slowed down. It's not pushing towards 6 a.m. So we'll see if we get a band, though, that narrow band of, I hate to say convection, but that narrow band of wind and heavy rain, it may speed up and get in here earlier than 6, closer to 4. In our area, and then we may see a break, and then we'll get the main rain band for rush hour. We'll be on the backside of it by, obviously, 9 o'clock, and then more showery, if anything, throughout the day on Monday, and not a drastic drop in temperature, because this area is Pacific in origin, not the Arctic. So it's not going to be a slam of cold air and falling temperatures and all that kind of stuff, but just a gradual drop that we're talking about for Monday. Interestingly, on Tuesday, hopefully we get rid of the clouds for those of you north of 64. We saw this not long ago with fog, but look at the difference the sun will make. I mean, upper 50s versus mid 40s, low 40s. So we've got to really figure out the cloud cover extent on Tuesday. Just a little too early to pinpoint that, but a heads up there, we'll be watching that. Then, as we head throughout the week, we have another system that's going to move in. This is one that was on the board for a while that was interesting. I was going to track. It had signs of becoming a more closed-off low that would be able to throw moisture over the Appalachians and produce maybe some snow across central and east Kentucky as it rolled up the eastern seaboard. Now it looks more like an open wave that is going to slide through, but it is going to be enough to pump in some warmer air. So we may see temperatures Wednesday and part of Thursday go back up again to near 60 degrees. But notice, this is the cold air. This is the Euro, by the way. Here's the really cold air. That white line is the dividing line of rain, snow, and that gap is just too much of a gap. We're not going to be able to benefit from it. Now, the higher elevations, the Appalachians in Ohio and Pennsylvania, may be cold enough because of elevation. They may get some snow out of that, but that's about it. Then we get into a lot of cold air as we head into Friday. Now, this is not going to be a earth-shattering cold blast, setting records, nothing like that. It's just going to be a shock to the system because of how warm we have been for a while. So that's the reason why it's going to be talked about. And when you look at the models, again, here are the deterministic models to the top. Here are the ensembles to kind of smooth out all the craziness. GFS, Euro, and Canadian. All of them say cold. Confidence is high. It is going to be cold Friday into Saturday. What's interesting with that, though, is this is typical with cold air masses that blast like that. You get little vorts that ride in. Sometimes we call these clippers in the middle of wintertime. These little X's dictate little pieces of energy. It's north of these X's is where your best lift would be to produce maybe some snow flurries, snow showers. And it's going to really try its best to squeeze out whatever moisture it can. There's not going to be a lot. But whatever falls will likely be snow. Here's the GFS brought to you our friends. This is the map from our friends over at Weatherbell. You can see it's showing maybe a chance for a dusting, mainly south of us. Euro, a little more to the north of our area. Not much to work with either. And then the Canadian, which is the first, by the way, to pick this idea out ahead of the other models, kind of streaks it toward us directly. So I'm not going to roll out some snow showers, snow flurries, and because if it does arrive Friday night, it has a better chance to whiten rooftops, maybe if it's enough of a snow shower to do that. But a big deal event, no. The cold air, yes. But this cold air, by the way, is going to be transient because of the same problems we've had. That's the data, the indices here. You see each one of the model runs, each time the Euros run, the EPO, it keeps trying. There's a couple of members that keep trying to take it negative, and then it doesn't work. It keeps going back positive. So that means warm east, cold west, basically. PNA is going negative, warm east, cold west. NAO is positive, not negative, which means there's not enough blocking, especially in the mid to high latitudes, so the cold air is transient. Can't stay very long at all. And then the Arctic oscillation is positive, which means the really, really cold air is locked up in Canada and the Arctic Circle. So, in other words, all the way through at least Christmas, other than this one little shot of cold air, there's nothing that says that we're going to see a flip to the cold and wintry pattern that everyone's waiting for, but that's not that shocking because we're not expecting it to be in December. We have been saying it's going to be January and onward. Now, here we go. Christmas morning, notice the ensembles all show more of a southwest flow. The GFS operation has been really wild on Christmas. It's been showing a crazy storm for a while now that ramps straight up to Canada, warm air and cold air behind it. We'll watch it. I mean, it's been very consistent with that idea, but the GFS struggles with two branches like this, and it's a bad map to get past that. And then as you look into the last few days of the year, one thing you will note is that it's still showing more of a southeast ridging that takes place, but notice operational, at least on the GFS, showing that perhaps a negative AO could be developing. Perhaps the cold air is getting dislodged from the Arctic and heading south. That could set the stage for January. And I think that's when the flip will happen. When in January, we don't know yet. But my guess right now is January 13th is what I had on Halloween for the flip, immeasurable snow, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if it happens. But Bots fans, snow lovers, be patient. Fun times are just around the corner.